This is Assassin's Creed Unity in 2014.
I'm dying. Help me.
And this is Assassin's Creed Unity in the cursed year that is 2020.
Sorry, see? It was a mistake. It was a generally mistake.
Yes, you heard right. I am the man with the biggest balls in the country. Why is that, you ask? Because I watched that South Park episode where they all stick their bollocks in the microwave and have to carry them around in wheelbarrows. And also because I bought Assassin's Creed Unity in 2020. Why has the game started? I'm still eating my cereal. I mean, technically I didn't. I have Uplay Plus, so I just kind of downloaded it. But that doesn't make for as good as a title. The Nightmare of Unity starts in Paris in 1307, and this guy makes it as far into the game as my dad made it into my life.
Ow! That hurt!
We begin gameplay as this character who is unnamed, and he's not unnamed because he doesn't have a name, he was given one, I just have severe ADD and didn't listen to it. The game tries to get me to engage in combat straight away, but thanks to the Church of Christianity, I instead decide to run away and suppress my gay thoughts, violent thoughts. I really don't know why I said that, I promise you guys, I love
big titties.
In the intro of this game, things are flipped on their head, and instead of being the assassin, you are a Templar trying to take down an assassin.
I just flipped the switch. I don't know nobody.
This, however, proves quite difficult when the assassins have decided to consult Captain Price on tactics they need to defeat the Templars. Where did they get flashbangs from? This is the 1300s. They didn't have flashbangs then, did they? Where's Captain Price yelling flashbang through the door? It turns out that it didn't matter how many Captain Prices the assassins had on their side because I had Thor on mine. I low-key kind of feel sorry for the assassin here. I mean, chocolate biscuits haven't even been invented yet, and here I am shooting thunder out of my sword. I take the thunder sword to a top-secret location and place it between these two children who are rather exposed. I mean, come on guys, I know it was culturally accepted at this point in time, but at least have standards here. Make sure that they're 12 or over. I then literally fucking die.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
After dying, a lot more bullshit happens to do with the Assassin's Creed lore and all that Abstergo stuff. I imagine the people who enjoy the modern day and Abstergo bollocks in all the Assassin's Creed games are also the same kind of people who put the milk first when making a tea. So after being through similar levels of torture to Anne Frank by watching the last 5 minutes of Abstergo stuff, you are then introduced finally to the main character of the game, Arno.
Oh, what? Oh, I can put my chair back up.
Is it over?
Can't I go with you, Father?
You wait just here.
Assassin's Creed has a game based in Paris. Also Assassin's Creed makes everyone sound extremely British. The game then decided to try and get me into some deep, deep waters as it told me to follow a young child, but I got told by police just last week if I was seen following young children again, I'd be arrested and put up in a cell. Straight away, I'm exposed to what a bad influence this young girl is. She tries to get me to steal an apple, and I would love to tell you guys that I rejected it, that my parents brought me up better than to steal apples from my own home, but really I'm just a beta simp and obey every word she says. After stealing the apple, I then become extremely concerned for my life. No, not because the guards are going to kill me because I've stolen an apple, how ridiculous. It's because the guards can't actually find me even though I've only just nipped around the corner. I mean, these guys are supposed to be highly trained, highly intelligent individuals who protect the lives of me, my father and my family, but they couldn't even spot an opportunity to get laid at a sorority house. Speaking of the life of my father, I then come round the corner to find out that he's dead, because, well, obviously. Script writers these days just seem to think that there's no other way to do an origin story apart from your parents dying. My theory as to what happened to my dad when he died was that the young girl killed him. I mean, come on, she got me to steal the apple, then get distracted by the guards, so I was held off. All of a sudden I turn up into the hallway, and he's dead. She's nowhere to be seen. We then fast forward by the amount of years that you needed to be alive for to be aboard Jeffrey Epstein's private jet. And the first thing that we see is an older Arno, and he's having an argument with this Irish guy. I imagine this is what Call Me Kevin looks like whenever he sees someone else using the word but in a YouTube title.
Hey there friends, how's it going? My name is Kevin.
All in all, I haven't really had any bugs in this game, and it's looking like they finally fixed things 6 years later. Oh, for fuck's sake, Ubisoft. Kevin then gets his little brother RT Game onto me as well, and together the Irish lads start chasing me down for using but in some of my titles. Eventually though, I manage to escape them, with the only real damage being my arm, looking like an in-season Jimmy Savile victim. When Arno arrives home, he begins talking to this painting of a woman on the wall, which actually brings me quite a lot of comfort. It's nice to know that I'm not the only one who has pictures of women on their walls who they talk to and plan to kill. Totally kidding, by the way guys, I don't just kill women, I kill every gender. There's no sexism racism over here. I even kill BuzzFeed employees, and who knows what the fuck gender they are. I am then given the important task of delivering a letter to the man who looks after me. Unfortunately though, he's at an event which I was not invited to. It's kind of rude, but honestly I'm pretty glad that I'm not there. It looks like a bit of a Tory party. Everyone there is over the age of 40 and eating caviar for dinner. Jesus Christ, I feel sorry for whoever's mum this is who gave birth to all these kids that look exactly the same in different colour coats. Once I was inside the venue, I then realised that there was a strict dress code, which I could have just easily abided by and not looked out of place one single bit. I don't know why I'm going through all this effort to not be recognised, when I literally could have just put on a pastel colour coat and I would have been perfectly blended in with everyone else. Just as I'm about to go and find my pastel coloured coat to blend in with everyone, out of nowhere, Call Me Kevin and Retweet Game finally appear again, and they're hungry for blood. It looks like they've both really got a problem with me. If I knew this earlier, I wouldn't have used butt in my titles. I didn't want it to succumb to this with two of my biggest YouTube inspirations, but unfortunately it's really going to have to be dealt with now. Luckily for me, they were quite easy to take down. Both of them being Irish actually helped quite a lot, as they're just constantly pissed. Both of their fan bases then decide to hunt me down, but you know how you win a war against more people than you get them to turn on each other.
Fuck's sake, man, this is a joke.
Once I arrive home after the war of the Irish lads and their fan bases is over, I then find out that Elise, the girl from earlier in the game, is back here in Paris and she is hosting a party. Unfortunately, I didn't get an invitation to the party, so I do exactly what every other sane person should do. Make my way there and break into the party myself without an invitation. This is advice that you should definitely follow. If a girl doesn't invite you over, just make your way there, break in through a window, and I'm sure she'll be over the moon. That's actually on my top 10 tips of how to get laid. And don't worry, if you need more advice and more tips on how to get laid, that video is coming very soon. I steal one of her father's suits. Again, another one of my top 10 tips, because nothing gets a woman going more than the smell of her own dad. Just consulting my tips here, I've actually got written, this is only appropriate if the dad left when they were young and or treated them like a son rather than daughter. So that's when it's useful. Now, if you are going after a rich and privileged girl who lives in a mansion, you will have to be quite athletic and good at the old parkour. Luckily for me though, Arno is in top tip condition and it looks like he's done this many times before. And that's really just the key to it, as it is the key to everything in life. Practice makes perfect. Your first break into a house might not go so well, but once you do it 3 or 4 times, you'll really get it down eventually. Now, once you find said girl, she may giggle like someone that's trying to haunt you, but there's no need to worry, this is just nervous laughter. She will then begin to walk away and or run away from you, but once again, do not worry. Just keep committing to the mission and eventually things will turn in your favour. I remember seeing before that women love being chased, and obviously that means in a literal sense, so be sure to get a good game of tag in to really make her want to rip off those tighty whities. Now eventually she will start feeling the real sexual tension and will pull you aside into a private room. But remember, my number 1 tip on how to get laid, and always my number 1 tip will be, no premarital sex. It is a sin in the Lord's eyes. What you do to someone in their ear is none of my business, but what you do to someone in their private parts is definitely mine and the Lord's business. Now, once you have finished up with your business, make sure to like and subscribe for more top tips like this. And also, a little something I forgot to mention, her father may or may not die once everything is said and done. It's just a risk that you've got to be willing to take. These tips are so powerful and work every time that usually it results in a close family member or friend passing away. Oh yeah, and one more downside to it that I forgot to mention was that you may also be framed and thrown into prison for the murder of said father. But hey, all that ear-on-ear action was worth it, right? Once you are thrown into prison, you will then begin to meet all of the different prison stereotypes that you've come to know thanks to movies and gaming. You know what to expect. Alright, mate. PTSD getting to you. Well, I mean, at least you got socks on. Ah yes, the typical cool guy who sits in the corner by himself. Where's your cigarette, man? And through the aforementioned cool guy of the prison cell, you will then begin some very original character development. Getting into a few scruffles and buffles with this guy, you will prove your toughness, and he'll be like, ah, yes kid, you are much stronger than you look. And I will be like, yes, I was taught. My father. And then he will be like, ah, I know, said father. Your father was an assassin. Obviously, you won't believe what he says at first because, well, he's a shady guy in a prison cell and nobody believes anything they say until they gain their trust. 2 months go by and some more very original character development happen as he's training me to be one of the assassins, but I'm not quite sold on the idea yet of being an assassin. But the chance arises here for me to escape with him. Things are going down in Paris and the prison is in the shitter. So that's exactly what we do. We both take control of our own destinies and decide this is it. Time to escape the prison and get out of it. To be honest, this prison escape could have been done a lot better. It's missing a lot of things. It's missing the near call with the guards. It's missing the random person who comes out of nowhere and wants to join you guys. It's missing the alarm going off and every single officer in the building being alerted to your escape. It's missing the guy who nearly makes it but has to stay back because he gets shot or stabbed or injured by one of the guards. And it's also missing a good 5th season. This is the moment where I choose to be an assassin or not. At the top of the prison, I either jump off with him, landing in a nice soft hay bale, or I stay up here and wait for the guards to come bring me back into prison. He jumps and leaves me with the decision. Do I go or do I stay? I decide it's time to man up and follow in my father's footsteps, and I also jump off the prison. Unfortunately, there's nothing to catch my fall, and when I'm on my way down, I see his dead body lying on the floor, bleeding out, and I do exactly the same. Splat. That's it, I'm gone, and that's the end of Assassin's Creed Unity. Thank you guys for watching the video, I really do appreciate it. If you want to see more Assassin's Creed, then be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any specific game requests, then also let me know in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy the video, I'd really appreciate it if you liked it and shared it with some people, and subscribed if you are new around here and you aren't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate you all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.